Hello, welcome everyone. I'm Mark. I am joined. Oh, you're that side. I'm joined by Andrew of Rogue Artist Creations. Hello, Andrew.
Hello, Mark. How you doing?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Excited. It's great to be able to talk about the game. So yeah.
Yeah. So the game we are talking about, that you can probably see because it's behind me and it's all over with Andrew all over there. I should say that the roses are they're not like a stretch goal. For Merchants of Infinity. Maybe it could be the first time a bunch of
Yeah.
live roses with your
So,
game. So yeah, Merchants of Infinity. Why don't you tell us a bit about the game? You're relaunching on Kickstarter soon, so we'll talk a bit more about that in a minute. But a quick sort of your elevator pitch of Merchants of Infinity. Tell us a bit about the game.
all right. Okay. So, Merchant Infinity is a sci-fi steampunk trading game set in space. You're on a fractal space station called Mandelbrot. The idea is it's worker placement, resource management. You're sending your traders out every turn to kind of get the best variety of resources, pick up ship orders and trading, and you kind of maximize your profits each turn. So it's kind of a use it or lose it. Every single time to get the best strategy you can, and it's a lot of good fun.
Good, and it's 2 to 5 players.
1 to 5 players.
One to
Silver,
five
normal.
players. The box that
Yeah.
I've got says 2 to 5 players. That's one of the many
I,
changes we were talking about that you've been on this journey of getting Merchants of Infinity to this point. About
it's only pages for the good.
yeah, and sort of time wise, what were we saying?
Time wise, I've been working this for 3 years. So, in terms of playing a game, two-player game will be 30 minutes. Longer five-player game will be like 90 minutes, maybe.
Yeah,
But on average, you're talking best part of an hour.
yeah, that's nice and comfortable game. Get a couple of those in an evening then.
Okay.
So people might know you from your previous game, which was Top Hats and Treachery. Gone on to Merchants. So did you kind of, as soon as that was done, you started working on this, or was there some overlap between the two?
Oh no, it was so hard. Basically, after Top Gun and Treachery, I kind of almost like forced my brain not to think of any more games for like 6 months, just write them out. And it was so hard because I'm used to the idea of creating game ideas all the time. And before I did Top Hats, I designed like 30 different games, and I had to pick
Nice.
one to stick with. So the idea was I wanted to kind of show that I'd like grown as a designer. So I went away and I played so many different games and learned more about the mechanics. Because when people ask me about Top Hat, they're like, "What mechanics does it have?" And I'm like, "I'm not sure what you mean." But I went away and played about 100 games. So I wanted to put those in. I also wanted to build a game. The original idea was to build a game that my wife would love because she loves the idea of like strategy and resource management and different combinations, whereas I'm the more sort of like theme and Ameritrash kind of like
Mhm.
story dungeon diving element. So it's got worker placement, it's got resource management, it's got hand management, it's got like set collection, auction, all sorts. So it's very much more of a gamer's game than Top Hats.
Yeah,
Hopefully
cool.
it's even.
And where did the kind of so obviously as well, like Top Hats was kind of in a hotel, and this is a space station, and there's all this sort of story around it as well. Was that like something that came through as you had designed it, or do you always had this kind of universe in your mind?
Well, it was a bit of both. I mean, like the merchant trading game. They're normally kind of Middle Ages, Middle East, bearded guys hiding to stand to the left. Whereas I wanted something that was like a new take on it, something a bit original.
Hmm.
So I thought I was really getting excited about fractal art, like the idea of fractal, the Mandelbrot series. And I wanted to kind of bring this like, what would a trading game be like if it was set in space? And I went away and like the Grand Bazaar in Istanbul.
Yeah.
I went and did like a massive map of it, planned everything out, and I worked out where all the stalls were. And then I looked at like the fractal designs. And I was like, these two ideas fit together really, really well.
Mm.
So when you actually look at the board of Merchants Infinity, like the food areas in one area and the creatures and the clothes, that actually matches up with the
Ah.
Grand Bazaar of Istanbul really well.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's really
Little
cool.
tidbits in the game. So it all kind of came together and it adapted so much like it was going to be a space game, then it was going to be a very steampunky game. And it's kind of sort of come to like a happy blend between the two. So there are steampunk elements in it there. People who like steampunk, and people who just prefer the sci-fi. There's lots of sci-fi as well.
Yeah. No, that's very cool. And one thing that I really liked, sort of looking through it, was this little mini game. I'll hold these up so you can see. But we've got like these little
Oh,
cog cards. So this is like at the start of every round, you almost get like a little bonus game to decide sort of player order. And had that always been part of it? Or was that just
yeah, I wanted something new. I mean, obviously, I love games like Five Tribes, where you've got the auction bin mechanic and you're moving in, or like Lords of Waterdeep kind of thing. They're always big favourites of mine. I was thinking, how do I do a new take on it that's something a little bit different? So I thought of it thematically, and if you imagine like the London stock market, when before like, it opens at a certain time and all the trades are kind of jostling around and chatting and shooting the breeze, I thought, well, what if on the station they play a card game that's unique to the station? That's got this like steampunk theme, so they kind of like psyching each other out and trying to basically throw each other off guard. So it's basically like almost almost a bit like poker. Basically, you're trying to score the best hand of cards you can, but there's also extra cards like remove a card or swap people hands around or zero score. So it just gives you a different way of basically choosing advantage, because different games it matters or it doesn't matter whether you go first.
Yeah.
Depending upon the strategy, I would say, depending what cards are in your hand, sometimes you're not too fussed, but sometimes you absolutely definitely want to go first, because you've got like, I need to get that space and this space and this space and score this card and get that bonuses. So it's a nice mixture. Sometimes you've got the pressure of it and you desperately want it. Other times you can kind of sit back and let other people fight it out and just sort of like just take your route for it. So something original, something new, like a unique selling point of the game. So there you go.
That's very cool. And it has kind of got that tussle of, like you really do want to get to the spaces that you want before someone else. So is it worth sacrificing a few points or a few platinum to get those cogs cards so that you can then get yourself higher up the playing order? It's really really interesting system. I won't hold the full board up because it'll be massive on this screen. But you can see from the box, and I'll get a little bit of board action going on. There we go. But I think you can see like already like the artwork is looking very, very good. Like it's almost like you went straight in with final artwork, and you kind of worked with a couple of people, I believe.
I did, yeah. I mean, I basically went on to things like ArtStation. I basically wanted to try and find a person who would kind of see the ideas of what I had together, but also bring their own kind of spin on things. Mm-hmm. And I found Tan Hossein, who's like Alien Tan on ArtStation, whose work is incredible.
Yeah.
Loved his stuff. In fact, it was like that one image that basically put me onto him.
All right.
Like like Alien Space Mark. I was like, this is the guy I have to work with. But then he was basically happy to do the box art and the character art on the cards, which of course looked absolutely stunning. Yeah. But one thing that he didn't say he wanted to do was he didn't want to do the board. So I was almost had like, right, back to the starter board, start all over again. And I found an artist who was basically Engar or Edrazana, who basically did the amazing art. It's inspired by the Fractal series, inspired by Mandelbot, but the inner workings of the actual centre of the board, yes, the gorgeous work from Tan, they're actually based on like a high-end luxury watch with all the kind of like the gears.
Yeah, I can see that.
Other. Yeah, because we looked at about 4 or 5 different designs, and he was like, well, I like the idea of Fractal, but something's missing. And then he like messaged me at like 1 o'clock in the morning. He's like, I found this. It's incredible. And it was like this like beautiful watch. I was like, that's the look for the game.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So we've been working with people from like Malaysia, Argentina. I've had reviewers in Canada, America, Germany, all sorts. It's a very international game.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Very cool. And so you mentioned they sort of sent it out to a bunch of reviewers all over the world. What's the reception been like for them? What are they kind of saying their favourite bits of the game are?
Oh, I mean, the meeples. The simple answer is the meeples. They're just like massive, chunky.
Huge.
We have people raving about them. I even did like a little sort of video on the Kickstarter page, which just like celebrated, because all the reviews keep coming up with, and these are the meeples, and they're wonderful, and they love them, and I think they're fantastic, right? So people love the meeples, people love the artwork. There's like in the style of good resource management games and worker placement games, there's loads of things to choose from, but you can adapt your strategy all the time. So when we first played Lords of Waterdeep or Five Tribes, that kind of game, and there seems to be so many options to play. If you want to just go down one route, like I'm just going to play this one strategy for my first game, see if it works. You can do that. Yeah. You can absolutely have a chance of winning doing that. But the more you learn about it, you can kind of adapt and try out other things. And I think some of the most fun moments for me is when someone's come up with like this wonderful combination where if I get these bonuses and get that card on this special action turn, then I get like double the points. And you just like sit there. So it's like, well done, that's pretty good. You've jumped 50 points in one go. Yeah. That's great. I don't mind I'm now in third place because you've done brilliantly.
Yeah. That's very cool.
Wonderful.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I love it.
Yeah, great. And so, I mentioned then you can see it on the screen. You're going to be relaunching on the 13th of October.
Yes.
With for people that might have seen the original campaign, you've made a few changes. You decided you wanted to kind of to sort of change things up a bit. So, like, tell us maybe a bit about kind of what some of those changes are as you're going into the relaunch.
Well, the first thing, well, one of the most important things is got a better price going forward. I've spoken to manufacturers, looked at the costings again. I've tried to strip back on a couple of things, but I wanted it to be more affordable. And I'm trying to set the base game as low as the cost I can do. We have got deluxe mode, but there's like a big sort of there's a big manufacturing cost associated with that. So that's going to be a wonderful stretch goal with like deluxe cards and extra components and like metal coins and a beautiful velvet bag kind of thing.
Lovely.
But base game is still fantastic. So I put that at a better price. We're not going to be trying to competing up against HeroQuest or Seven Citadel that time. So we're going to have a clear run at it.
Yeah,
With no one else jumping us, hopefully. And just trying to get, I mean, we've got a couple more video reviews coming in, but the idea is this is a great game. You will enjoy this game. If you can find it on Kickstarter, back it, watch the videos, see what people have said about it, because there's so much to enjoy.
Yeah.
Really, really is. Yeah.
Yeah, great. If people wanted to try it out in advance, is it possible on Tabletop Simulator, or they can download the rules maybe?
That is something that I think would look at in the future. I mean, I'd love to get it on Board Game Arena. Ultimately, that would be wonderful. But yeah, it's the kind of thing that I think could be adapted to like online play reasonably well.
Yeah, yeah.
So if I love for it, then I'll definitely look into doing that.
Yeah, very cool. But if people want to kind of find out more about the game, maybe see some videos about how it plays and stuff, the best place to go.
Best place to go is either the Board Game Geek page or just merchantsofinfinity.com.
Yeah.
Because I've got all the videos there. We've got review videos, we've got how to play. There's bits about me unboxing the game and setting up the game. There's animations about how it plays. There's all sorts. All the videos you can get, I'm putting through there. So there's more on the characters. There's more on the mechanics and the balancing. So yeah, have a look. There's loads.
Yeah, really very good. Like, so yeah, a couple of weeks, and I'm assuming you have like a what am I trying to say? A email list, a mailing list that people could sign up for and get notifications of when it's live again.
If you go onto merchantsofinity.com, there's a link at the top of the page where you can kind of like add your details. And I've had a few people there already, but yeah, the more people, the better. Yes, please.
Yeah.
I would love loads of people to be able to contact and say, look, we're live now. Go now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Please go to the webpage merchantsofinity.com. Put your details in the top file and just join us, and then keep your contact. Yes, please.
Yeah, that's very, very cool. And it does just look like such a lovely game, and you know the meeples were a very nice touch. One of my favourites.
I need to think of different sizes, depending on what colour you like to play. There's a few different variations because I wanted to avoid the whole like green-red problem in the first game. So basically, we have sort of like pinky magenta purple. We've got lovely like jade green. We've kind of got Lucozade yellow. We've got midnight blue, and we've got like smoky black. And then there's like the actual bonus you can get that's transparent because he can be any colour. Really. So,
yeah, very cool.
Yeah. It's such a colourful game, but it doesn't feel too garish. It just feels like vibrant, which is lovely. So.
Yeah, the feeling I got as I was kind of going through it was a bit like a more modernised version of Deep Space Nine or something like that. You know,
yeah, exactly. Like imagine people on Deep Space Nine played Lords of Waterdeep and got basically hideously mixed up. Imagine it was something like this.
Yeah. Which kind of sounds silly saying a modern version of that because that's some point in the future. So, but
yeah,
but all...
a bit of a Deep Space Nine feel with people like that. It's kind of this like this. Anything could happen on this space station. You've got aliens. You've got sort of robots. You've basically got shifting dimensions and warp space. Oh, that was the other thing we've got to say because obviously, because it is kind of this like fractal universe. Yeah, every single turn is kind of like a random event. So there's different realities, which means that like. Sometimes there's resources not available, or sometimes basically there's bonus cards or extra things being evolved. The other lovely thing is that because, again, this is like a unique point of it, it's a resource managing game, but you don't have piles and piles and piles of resources. It's kind of like you use it or lose it. And one person a couple of people basically saying, well, does that mean you can't carry resources to the next turn? In the base game, no. But in the expansion packs, yes, you can.
Ah, very cool.
So I looked into kind of doing some extra bonuses because when I was designing the board, I wanted to kind of have the opportunity to add more. And there's a lovely space here on the board. You can kind of add more on. So the idea is that there's kind of like an extra docking point just underneath of the blue station spaces there. Yeah, there.
About there.
That's it. There, yes, exactly. So the idea is there are multiple extra spaceships that can arrive here, which each have their own unique effect. So there's kind of like got the lost asteroid, which basically brings like ooze, which is kind of it's like Joker resource that can be any other resource.
Yeah.
There's luxury yacht where you can kind of like get high risk, high reward missions where you actually need to get 4 things at once. There's basically a casino you can visit. There's like a spaceport where you can actually send a good to yourself on a future turn.
Oh, that's
like,
cool. Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
And the more, and they kind of, there's loads of bits that are optional in the game. Like, so you can add that in, and it kind of mixes it up. But again, once you play the game a few times, you've got the base rules. These are the kind of things you can throw in to just give it even more life, even more playability. And if you're a player versus player kind of crowd, you've got the player versus player spaces, but you don't have to play them if you don't want to.
Yeah.
Some people love them. I mean, I was speaking to the guys from the Hairy Game Lords, Andrew there, and they were basically saying like they were playing into their son, and their son like stole massive handfuls of their points, but like he was almost like congratulating him. And other people were like, no, we don't play those. We play a friendly game here, so you can take it whichever way you like. And that's again one of the joys of the game. So.
Yeah. No, very cool. Yeah, there's just so many options of places you could go and yeah, it's very, very cool. Lots going on. So please do go and check out merchantsofinfinity.com. See it down there on the screen, and keep an eye on Kickstarter. Are you going to roughly the same time, about 5 p.m.
Yeah, that
GMT? We'll be back to normal. We'll be back to normal time by then.
I do GMT and it's EST, and it's 5 p.m. here. So the idea is I'm going to leave work, zoom home, grab a cup of tea, hit launch.
Very cool. So yeah, go check that out. There is loads of information out there, reviews and playthroughs and stuff. You can check out.
Solo modes, there's like solo plays available. There's extra rules there. So depending whether like you're isolated in lockdown or whether you've got a bunch of friends available, you will love this game.
Good. Well, thank you so much for your time, Andrew. Please do go check out merchantsofinfinity.com. Keep an eye on Kickstarter, 13th of October. Go and have a research. Go look at the BGG page is probably a good place for all of those videos will be kind of collated there. And yeah, we wish you all the best for the relaunch. Please go and support Andrew. Thanks for your time, Andrew.
Great first couple of days. Thank you so much, Mark.
Bye.